honest businesses, when taken seriously, can provide stability and pride.
It's like a pain. I know that if you get up in the morning and you don't feel like come out here, that's you don't come out. So yeah, it's good to be your own entrepreneur. And so I'm like, let's work hard towards it. It will go, you will succeed. It will pay off. Definitely.
Next week, we meet another entrepreneur who has some blessings, but we'll conjure some more. Hey! Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace? Search for a declaration?
Then download the Jamaica Customs mobile app today. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
12 p.m. Thanks for joining us for CVM News at noon. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first, police and firefighters were dispatched to Portland High School today following a reported bomb threat that led to the evacuation of students and staff. Principal Audrey Brown told CVM News the alarm was raised sometime around 8 o'clock. She says school remains closed as they were forced to suspend regular classes. Now, the incident triggered an immediate security sweep of the school compound as a precaution, causing classes to be disrupted and raising concern among parents and residents in the area. Investigations are ongoing as authorities work to determine the source of the threat. Police in Hanover are investigating the fatal shooting of a man in the Success District early Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified as a 52-year-old Lenford Hazle, otherwise called Mickey, a roots vendor of level land in the parish. Reports are that shortly after midnight, Hazle was returning home from a party and was driving into his yard when he was attacked by armed men. He was shot multiple times while inside his vehicle. Now, Hazle reportedly exited the car and ran towards a neighbor's house, but was chased and shot again by the gunmen. The police were summoned, the scene was processed, and Hazle was taken to hospital where he later died. Detectives attached to the Ramble and Sander Bay police stations have since joined forces to determine the motive behind the killing. Now, this incident marks the third murder in the parish since the start of 2026. Now, 3 people have lost their lives in a series of fatal motor vehicle collisions reported by the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force over the weekend. The crashes, which occurred in St. Catherine North and Trelawney, involved multiple private motor cars and trucks, with investigators pointing to factors such as loss of control, skidding, and improper overtaking as possible causes. The incidents claimed the lives of passengers and drivers ranging in age from 50 to 92 years old. Now, a severe cold front has forced the closure of fishing villages across western Jamaica. CVM News observed halted fishing activity in Hanover and Westmoreland, with boats and gear removed from the water due to rough seas and strong winds. One fisherman from Hopewell, Westmoreland, Thomas Anderson, said crews have been relying on stored fish, noting that some fish pots could not be retrieved in time and may be damaged.
I always know that weather like this weather really hard for a long time and to keep up. So I just by the grace of God, boy, we survive. Because hard now, fishermen have it hard because we just get a lick from the storm and we come back and get the next lick and all, boy, hard too, but we can't give up still, we fight for right, you know?
Now, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Delroy Chuck has commissioned newly appointed justices of the peace, JPs, to take a more active role in Jamaica's fight against crime, urging them to work hand in hand with law enforcement and to serve as trusted voices within their communities. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony for 28 JPs held in St. James recently, Minister Chuck emphasized that community partnership is essential to sustaining the country's recent progress in reducing serious crimes. Now, while acknowledging the police's intensified operational and intelligence-driven strategies, the minister stressed that citizen involvement remains a critical factor in achieving long-term success. He noted that JPs are uniquely positioned to bridge the gap between communities and the authorities.
Jamaica has many problems. And one of the problems every single one of us must be determined to solve is the one of reduction of crime. Let me say, ladies and gentlemen, newly minted JPs, if we can continue to reduce crime and murders in particular, then Jamaica will get the credit and the goodwill that we deserve in bringing crime under control.
Up in flames, millions of dollars worth of goods are suspected to have been destroyed by a massive fire at a popular store in downtown Kingston on Sunday. Firefighters spent several hours battling the blaze and subsequent smoke. Thankfully, no other establishment was impacted. More from Nika Lewis.
Smoke, firefighters and law enforcement as things ground to a fiery halt on King Street Sunday morning amid much of the bustling in the downtown Kingston space.
At 10:13 a.m. this morning, the fire brigade received and responded to a call of building and fire at number 77 King Street. On arrival of the first unit from York Park Fire Station, they would have saw large smoke emitting from the building and called for additional assistance. Assistance would have come from Halfway Tree, Rollington Town, Trench Town, and also additional units from York Park.
The firefighter explains the store engulfed is owned by the Amars Group and sells items of clothing. Despite not much issues from strong winds for most of the day, he admits even with some 31 firefighters, they encountered other difficulties in effecting the cooling down operation.
Yes, it is very challenging for us. We have to be fighting the fire from three sections, from the west, the north, and the east of the building.
Is the breeze, the windy situation giving you any challenges to control the fire?
Not necessarily the wind, but more like to gain entrance into the building because the smoke and other poisonous gases would have backed up in the building.
You have mentioned that it is a building is unusual and it starts from here to here.
Or it starts from Temple Lane to King Street. It's a huge building.
Although some sources on location presume the losses will likely be in the millions owing to the destruction of goods and property, the authorities are still crunching the numbers as the investigations continue.
All right, we have not conducted any investigation towards the costs for the estimated damage and risk as yet. And that is undetermined for the time being. Our team of investigators will be coming on the scene to carry out that section. It's only Amar section is affected by the fire. The neighboring building is intact and we give God thanks for that.
Nika Lewis, CVM News.
And it's time now for a break, but stay with us. Our live interview comes up next.
It's 8 a.m. and Mr. Thompson can't find chalk. Or his dignity. His white squalid. Meanwhile, on site, error, a mash-up concrete. Or so it seems. Wait, I can't embellish that. It's almost that time for Ashley's belly to plop out? Don't get creative with your hunger. Solve it with Mothers.
Mommy, ice cream.
Even the little ones get hungry too. Mothers, all day delicious. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. The Met Service is warning that cool temperatures are very strong, and very strong winds will continue across the island as a cold front remains positioned west of Jamaica. Forecasters say these conditions are expected to persist island-wide through Tuesday with near gale force winds affecting northern and southwestern parishes as well as hilly areas, particularly on Monday. Now, while conditions are expected to improve slightly by midweek, strong winds and intermittent showers are still likely over the coming days. Joining us now is our in-house meteorologist, Javoy Sawyers, who's on Zoom. Hi, Javoy. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
So start us off. What exactly is driving this cold front and why is it lingering in the western side of Jamaica for such an extended period?
Okay, so this cold front originated over the U.S. Particularly, we've had cold fronts before. However, the particular location or the origination of this mass of cold air is from northern Canada, which is indicative of the temperature and the vast difference in conditions we're experiencing now. Now, the cold front is the boundary between the cold air and our regular tropical air, and that boundary is now positioned just across the eastern Caribbean in a stationary front. But behind the cold front, where we are, we're experiencing cooler temperatures as much as 8 degrees below normal and strong gusty winds accompanied by some cloudy conditions and light showers.
Now, speaking of strong gusty winds, exactly how strong are these winds expected to get and which parts of our parishes are expected to feel it the most?
About gale force expecting about 35 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour. Particularly though experiencing stronger wind conditions in the hilly interior areas of the island, the hilly northeastern sections, so the Red Hills, the Stony Hills, Golden Spring, particularly because of the air squeezing through the gaps in the hills and the mountains that causes the wind speed to increase.
So we see where temperatures as low as 20 degrees in Montego Bay and even other parts of Jamaica. It's unusual for many Jamaicans. How rare is this level of cool weather and realistically speaking, how long could it last?
So we've had cold fronts before, as I said. Those cold fronts, the air may have originated just across the U.S. However, this cold front air came from much further north in Canada. North of the Arctic Circle. So expecting this cool condition to continue until Tuesday afternoon as the dominant wind flow shifts from coming from the US to coming from the Eastern Caribbean, which is much warmer.
So for those residents who are living in hilly and coastal areas, what specific dangers though should they be looking out for during this period?
With the stronger wind conditions, expecting rough seas, swells, dangerous swells, wave action across the coastal areas of the northern parts of the island. The hilly interior areas, though, northern parishes expecting showers, light showers, intermittent showers to continue. Even after the cold front had dissipated and temperatures warm up, expecting showers to continue across northern parishes in the afternoon on Wednesday, Thursday, and second cold front, though not as strong, to move into our area again closer to the weekend to influence rainfall activity and slightly cooler conditions, but not as cool as now.
So we shared with our viewers earlier that marine activities out west, that's in Westmoreland, they're already being affected. Can you speak about how conditions in the aviation sector are being affected at this time?
Well, we have not had any delays or cancellations based on this particular weather system. Still having regular conditions, not seeing any reports of any adverse effects on the aviation.
So looking ahead to Tuesday, when the public hears terms like improving conditions, what does this actually mean? Is it that we're expecting calmer winds, warmer temperatures? What does that look like?
So expecting the winds to die down gradually through to midweek, temperatures to bump back up to regular conditions for January, about 28 degrees for a high, 29 degrees in some places, and the shower activity to diminish tomorrow, however, picking back up across northern areas for the afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday into Friday.
So Javoy, talk to me about the destructive force of the winds, though, because we're talking a lot about how cold the place is, but I'm getting reports that over in Senton we've seen where there has been a power outage linked to how strong these winds are, as well as people deciding that, oh, they can't go to work today because of the state right now, no internet. Talk to me about that side of things, because I don't think we're speaking enough or acknowledging just how destructive these winds are.
So in past times when we have strong cold fronts, we get these gusty gale force winds that have the potential to take down branches, some small trees, banana trees, also impact the power supply as the wind causes the wires to shake, vibrate, and touch against each other. So we've had reports of down trees, especially in Red Hills area. I'm seeing Westmoreland as well, and across the mainly northern parishes with the gusty winds, like I said, forcing through the gaps and the valleys in these hilly areas, which causes the wind speed to increase.
Is this normal for this time of the year, or does it not matter the time of the year that it is?
So we get cold fronts during the winter period in the northern hemisphere, particularly January into February, when the temperature difference is strongest between tropical areas and the more northern temperate regions or the Arctic regions. So the temperature difference gets stronger during January, so we have stronger cold front potential during these months. So we've had cold fronts several weeks leading up to now, but they have not been as strong as this one, particularly because of the location that this particular air mass is coming from and the temperature difference between that location and here.
So considering that Jamaica doesn't necessarily experience winter per se, would you say that this in any way is connected to climate change, what we're seeing right now?
Well, we are seeing, so the jet stream basically is the demarcation or the boundary between the Arctic air mass and tropical air mass. So
what does that mean, Javoy? Remember the average viewer that's watching right now, they don't know the technical weather terms. Break that down for us. Speak in layman terms.
So the jet stream is basically a river of fast-moving air that circles the poles, right? So during winter periods, we're seeing where this river that circles the pole tend to meander and bend more, which causes the air mass that is within the center of this jet stream that circles the pole to come further towards the south. So it is attributed somewhat to climate change, where we have more of these meanders and bends in the jet stream that causes the air mass to come further towards the south.
Could these conditions extend beyond Tuesday?
Well, not for this particular cold front. This cold front has stalled across the central Caribbean and will dissipate, so that the air behind the cold front will then gradually warm as it is now further towards the south. However, we're expecting more cold fronts to encroach in our area. Though they may not be as strong as this one, we can still expect to see cooler conditions periodically as we go through the quote-unquote winter period, which is the Northern Hemisphere winter period.
And just before you go, Javoy, what practical advice would you have right now for Jamaicans in terms of staying safe over the next few days and preparing, you'd say?
So, with the strong winds, expecting trees and limbs to be impacted. So look out for those, especially the roadways where it meanders through hilly areas, expecting you may buck up on trees, branches in the roadways. Also, the coastal areas of the northern section of the island and the western section of the island, as we're having stronger winds and rough seas, we're expecting those waves and swells to come up on those roadways that are closer to the seaside.
All right, thank you so much. That was our in-house meteorologist, Javoy Sawyers. Thanks again, Javoy, for joining us and breaking down that information. We go now to an item of breaking news. Former People's National Party Member of Parliament Joyan Silvera has pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the 2023 shooting death of his wife, Melissa.